here. As far as elections, that's slightly over the percentage, and that's primarily due to the software license payment that was made for the donated equipment that elections received. For MCP, the monthly prisoner contract was encumbered. The Superior Court judges had an annual encumbrance for the transcript fees for their court reporters. The jury manager is also on this list this particular month, and that's primarily due to the paid jury fees that have been accumulated, as well as the subscription that's due at the beginning of the year for the jury summons. And the public defender is here, and it's listed here every month because we pay that monthly contract amount to the state in advance. That is the financial snapshot in a nutshell. I've provided on ECAP the detail for the information that's listed here. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
The Mayor Pro Tem has a question.
On the OLOS for public safety, well, we're $2 million, our expenditures are $2 million more than income. Is that time and something that's been paid?
Well, what's listed here as far as the expenditures are the obligations. A large part of this are encumbrances that have rolled over from the prior year, and those are still obligations to us because we haven't actually paid that money out, so that's included in this figure. So it's not that they've spent more this fiscal year than we've collected in revenue. There could be some carryover from the prior year that...
Is that the transfers figure? 1.160 figure?
The transfers, the 1.16 in transfers is the money that we transfer out to E911. That comes out of the public safety allocation of the OLOS, as well as well, that's the first thing that's coming to mind. I'm trying to think of all the other transfers. Oh, yes, risk management and workers' comp. Those allocations are also included in the transfer figure. Sorry about that.
Okay. We've got, excuse me, Councilor Allen.
Just wanted to verify, down at the bottom on the right, the under OLOS positions field, is this telling us that the police department is fully staffed now?
No, what that is telling us is based on the number of positions that are allocated, well, that are budgeted in the OLOS, they have 106 that they have filled from OLOS funds. But they also have general fund positions that are unfilled.
What's the 110 mean?
The 110 is the number of budgeted positions in the OLOS fund for the police department.
And they filled 106.
They have 106 filled as of the end of October.
But they were down to like 70 or 80 or something.
They were down positions, not necessarily OLOS, just overall.
Just overall, that's correct. They're down overall, but not necessarily in the OLOS. I think the goal is to fund the positions in the OLOS first. Before they fill the general fund positions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we have Councilor Baker.
Now, I'm not sure if this is for the city attorney or, but on the, Mr. City Attorney, on your litigation expenses, I know we were wrestling as to where to charge some of those. Is that the claims? Is there a separate claim fund? What? How are we paying those?
Oh, I'm sorry, Clifton, I thought, there you go.
Any judgments are coming out of a separate reserve fund. This is only for expenses that we've incurred in 100-plus cases.
But didn't we have to assign some of those attorney's fees to come out of that judgment fund?
He's talking about
not this category, I don't think.
I think he's talking about the fees that were paid to Sheriff Darr's lawyers.
Yeah, the sheriff's lawyers' fees are coming out of another separate reserve fund. Is that right, Ms. Hodge?
That's correct. The sheriff's fees are being paid out of non-categorical here. It's the last department that's listed on the general fund expenditures.
Okay,
list.
so the 181%
Yes.
does not even include
Not the,
those fees?
not the sheriff lawyer's fees. It does include all the city defendant lawyer fees and
Right.
expenses
Right.
on those cases, plus about 90 others.
No, I understand that. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to get a handle on all of them
Right.
together. You'd be in excess of 200%.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm obviously not your fault. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
understand why the numbers match up. That's all.
That's right.
Thank you.
All right.
And categorical? All the lawsuits, I mean? The 4 lawsuits that we have, are they all funded from the non-categorical?
The
Or is
The
this
cons-
just the sheriff?
Constitution,
They're all paid from non-categorical.
right.
All their lawyers.
All of their lawyer
All of their
fees.
lawyers,
All of
which would
their
only
lawyer
be
fees.
Linda
That's correct.
Pierce and John Darr.
Right,
because
the
they're only
constitutional
one-
officers.
They are the only ones who, under that statute, were required to pay their lawyers. And Linda's lawyers hasn't done any work in a while, so we haven't had a bill since almost a year, I think.
Well, I think total, there's a close to 900,000 at this point, but that's coming out of the separate reserve fund.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. It looks like there's no further questions at this time.
Thank you, Director Alexander. Madam Mayor, I've got just 2 announcements, and then that will conclude my agenda. The first announcement is the Eastern Connector opened today. The Eastern Connector, as you know, is out Buena Vista Road, Chautauqua Road, and it goes out to connect to Chatsworth and then on over to 80 as you would go to Macon. Blue Cross Blue Shield is out there. That's known as the Eastern Connector. And it opened today. It'd been pretty much finished, and they had barricades up, but they took them down today. So we wanted to make you aware of that. And Tiasha Johnson has just a press release that came from GDOT, because it's controlled by them. GDOT sent out this press release, and it opened today. And so citizens out there listening, I had one person ask me a couple of weeks ago, when are you going to open the Eastern Connector so I don't have to go all the way around to get to work? Well, they can do that tomorrow morning. And the other announcement, we're in the holiday season, and waste collection is the biggest challenge that we have when it comes to holiday season. Now, I'll say to you that we've used the Ledger Inquirer. Of course, we discussed the once-week garbage schedule for more than a year, and we continue to use the Ledger Inquirer, the Columbus Times, the Courier. We do commercials on the local channels, and I'm sure you've seen those commercials. We use social media, Facebook and Twitter. We use our CCG website. We post the holiday schedule and garbage schedule on there. We do email blasts to organizations and churches. We have a list of organizations and churches that we do email blasts to. So we do those things to get the word out. Every time a holiday schedule comes up, all of those are the various ways we get the message out. Thanksgiving is next week. The city will be closed on Thursday and Friday. On Monday, November 21st, if your household garbage and recycling is normally collected on Monday or Thursday, this is next week, during Thanksgiving week, next week, and next week only, it will be collected on Monday. So if you have a Monday and a Thursday garbage pickup and recycling pickup, next week only, the week of Thanksgiving, it will be collected on Monday. So Monday, Thursday is collected only on Monday next week. Tuesday, November 22nd. If your household garbage and recycling is normally collected on Tuesday or Friday during Thanksgiving week, that's next week and only next week, it will be collected on Tuesday, November 22nd. So I want to say that one more time. If your garbage recycling is collected on Monday or Thursday, we will pick it up on Monday next week. Monday, Thursday will be picked up on Monday, Thanksgiving week. And Tuesday, Friday will be picked up on Tuesday next week. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week, there will be no garbage or recycling pickup, and we will not be picking up tree limbs and yard waste next week. No yard waste, tree limbs next week.
We have the Mayor Pro Tem.
And I know we should remember this, but I tell you what, last week when Veterans Day came, that Friday, I got ready to leave home that Wednesday, and I said, why my neighbors got the trash out? And then it hit me after I was halfway downtown. That trash wasn't out, because I didn't think about Friday being a holiday. And the trash was picked up that Wednesday. And I know if I forget, a lot of people forget. But you know how we used to have a telephone call?
Yeah, Code Red.
Can we put those up, put that on telephone calls?
I don't have a problem with using Code Red to
Yeah.
call all
Or
the
to go
households in
out.
Muskogee County. We can do that.
Because that will remind them. And see, like, next week it'll be going from a Wednesday pickup to a Tuesday pickup,
Yeah,
Friday's pickup.
Yeah.
So if we can do that, please.
Yeah, you can just call, if you can, the geographic area that's being affected, if that's
Well-
possible. I know we can locate it to areas, instead of just broadcasting it to the whole city
Right.
who may not be affected by this, but to those who will be changed
yeah,
on
makes
Thursday
sense.
and Friday.
Yeah, if they
you
get,
would-
yeah, mhm.
You can usually get it pretty close to
Yeah.
the geographic area, and so that might be good. And you also, you know, and not to go in a lot of detail, perhaps just to say that we know people forget, and so we do send them back out, you know, to try and catch as catch can, and we certainly respond when people call with particular, you know, issues.
And we
I think
did
all of
that.
us waited.
We did that this week as well. We don't like doing that, but
They came out.
we knew that they should have put it out on Wednesday, but they didn't. And so we've been sending trucks through neighborhoods, and we've even had people, as Tiasha Johnson said to me, call and want to know why the garbage truck is in their neighborhood. Well, well, no. They wanted to know yesterday or that we went back out when we shouldn't be out there in their neighborhood because we wanted to ride the streets to get what was out if we could, and they wanted to know, why are they in the neighborhood? Well, we're in the neighborhood because some people put their garbage out and they left it out and we're looking for it, you know, so.
So we try to accommodate when
Yeah,
we
we're
can,
trying to
particularly when
accommodate.
there's hardship.
So anyway,
Councilor Huff?
Mr. City Manager, thank you so very much. I got beat up so bad Friday by a constituent. I explained to them it had been advertised properly every way it could be. So if you could go Code Red, you know, next time, that would probably help too. I think some of the senior market, they're not, you know, if they miss it on the news or they miss it in the newspaper, they miss it, yeah, because they're not using the internet as much as, you know, the rest of us do. So thank you so very much, and next week, I'll let my constituents know they'll be through the neighborhood on Tuesday. Thank you.
And we're going to do code red, we hate to burden people with a phone call to their home, but we'll do it. Madam Mayor, that
I think
concludes.
that's
You're
it.
right.
Okay. Now we have Madam Clerk, Ms. Washington.
Madam Mayor and members of the council, on the clerk's agenda, I have 5 items of information. The first being a biographical sketch of Miss Sally Bradley, who is interested in serving on the Columbus Aquatic Center. We have a biographical sketch of Miss Barbara Chambers, Councilor Barnes nominee for Mr. Walter Lewis seat on the Community Development Advisory Council. Biographical sketch of Mr. Monty Gilbreth, Councilor Thomas nominee, which she will be nominating for the Valley Partnership. And we have 2 temporary street closing applications, one for November the 19th in connection with the Clydesdales event on Broadway, and then another one on December the 3rd in connection with St. Luke's First Saturday event. Have a couple of add-ons. Listed on our board appointments, Mr. Lawton Grantham has been nominated for another term. I need a motion to confirm him.
Got a motion and second to approve. All those in favor, please state aye.
And now can I have a motion to adopt the resolution?
Got a motion and second to adopt the resolution. All those in favor, please state aye.
I have a letter of resignation from Ms. Judith Lopez resigning from her seat on the Board of Family and Children Services.
I have a motion that it be received with regrets. Is there a second? All those in favor, please state aye.
We have a letter from the Secretary of the Civic Center Advisory Board. They are asking that the seat of Ms. Shawanda Ellis be declared vacant.
And a second. All those in favor, please state aye. We've got a motion. Is there a second that the minutes be received? Those are the minutes of the Board of Historic and Architectural Review and the minutes of the Columbus Gulf Authority. All those in favor, please state aye.
On our board appointments, on the Airport Commission, Mr. Chris Badcock has been nominated. He can be confirmed.
We have a motion to confirm and a second. All those in favor, please state aye.
And then on our Board of Elections and Registration, we've heard back from the Republican Party. They are working on getting those nominees to us, and hopefully we can have those at our next meeting. Board of Honor, we're still working to get a replacement for former Councilor Billy Watson. On our Civic Center Advisory,
Excuse me, yes, Councilor Thomas.
On the Board of Elections, having a vacancy there will not impact anything about the runoff election, will it? I mean, do we have to have a full complement?
I think they serve until they don't serve.
Serve until a new person is...
Mr. City Attorney, do you know about that?
that
Will
is
they-
correct. They will serve
Yeah.
until their
For
successors.
the end of the year.
Okay, okay. I just didn't want us to screw up that election if we, yeah, thanks.
Okay.
On the Civic Center Advisory Board, Councilor Woodson is still working on a replacement for Mr. Irving. And as the Parks and Rec Director mentioned earlier, Mr. Bobby Howard has declined his appointment, and if council wants to nominate someone today, they can. Community Development Advisory, Councilor Barnes is nominating Ms. Barbara. Yes.
All right, we've got a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor, please state aye.
On the Cooperative Extension Advisory Board, Ms. Maddie Washington does not want to serve another term. Council will need to nominate someone in that position. On our Historic and Architectural Review Board, Mr. David Mitchell, this is an at-large seat, will make contact to determine if he wants to serve again. And we're making contact with the Board of Realtors, the Uptown Business Association, as well as the Historic District Preservation Society for their nominee. And Ms. Brinkley Pound, we will make contact to determine if she wants to serve again. Hospital Authority, we've made contact with the authority for recommendations. We've not received anything back yet. On a Public Safety Advisory Council, Councilor Huff is working on a replacement for Ms. Brown. On our Recreation Advisory Board, we are making contact with the school district for Mr. Battle's seat. Councilor Davis is working on a replacement for Mr. Gary Bruce. And for the Valley Partnership, Councilor Thomas is nominating Mr. Monty Gilbreth, and we will bring this back at our next meeting for a vote.
I think we have to bring it back. Counselor Davis?
Madam Clerk, I want to renominate Sandy Green for the Historic Architectural Review Board. She had assist counselor's appointment on there.
It is pursuant to the recommendation that we received from the Board of Realtors. So once we get their recommendation, we'll bring that forward to council for your confirmation.
The other, isn't there, I'm sorry,
Go ahead. You got the floor.
isn't there another opening on the Aquatic Center Board?
That is the one that...
I'd like to nominate Sally Bradley.
Okay. Okay, we'll bring this back at our next meeting for confirmation. Right.
Yeah. And we've got Counselor Baker.
Thank you. We declared a Civic Center seat open. Will you come back and publish that, or,
Yes.
and then I believe that's a district appointment. Is that, they have to live in the district, or just a counselor from the
No.
district makes the appointment?
They must live in that district.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
That's all I have, Madam
Does that
Mayor.
conclude? Okay, as I understand it, Mr. City Attorney, we have a request for executive session on matters of litigation. Is that correct? We have a motion and a second to go in, but we have Counselor Barnes, sir.
Prior to going into the executive session, I'd like to thank all the citizens who came out to say thank you to our veterans. The crowd was quadrupled.
Wow.
It was a huge crowd of people, and I'd just like to say thank you to all the citizens for just coming out and just saying thank you to the veterans. And I'd like to thank all the organizations that came out and support 162. And I have one other thing, one final thing. For the first time, as I lived in Columbus, I had to call fire and EMS out to my home. And if I can just pull this up, because I'd like to personally thank the individuals that came out, and as you know, this thing would not act right for me. But yes, it is. They were, from the time I placed the call, they were out there in nanoseconds to my home. And I'd like to thank Captain Brian Russell, Sergeant Darnell Bryan, Sergeant Greg Adams, and fire medics David Glore and James Moffitt. They were so, from the time, as they were pulling up, because I called in and I gave the vital signs and whatever, but as they pulled up, they were asking me questions. I mean, even before they got to my door. That shows huge amount of professionalism, knowing the things that they need to be doing. And they punched all the tickets when they came through. So I'd like to thank, I did let the chief know it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they were there quickly.
great folks. So fortunate. All right, we've got Mayor Pro Tem.
And also what Pops didn't tell you, this is the first time that every high school ROTC unit, both in Muskogee County, Phoenix City, and Smith Station, were in the parade Saturday.
That's great. Wonderful. Well, such a great turnout. And we have Counselor Henderson as well.
Well, we're going to pile on. Pops did an amazing job putting that together. That's the largest Veterans Parade that I think I've seen. That thing went on and on and on. And anybody that says there's nothing to do in Columbus, Georgia, wasn't in Uptown on Saturday. Because I'm telling you what, we spent about 4 hours down there, stopped and ate lunch outside. They had the food trucks going on at Woodruff Park. They had the Soldiers Marathon that was at the Infantry Museum. They had the market days going on with the crafts and all that
I was
stuff.
on a bike ride with Pam Hodge and World's Changes Tabernacle Church
Were you
Yeah.
really?
at that time.
It's just, and it was really amazing to see all the different folks that were wandering around, and they'd stop and they'd watch and cheer the veterans and the participants in the parade. It really, you hear a lot of these folks say there's nothing to do. You need to leave your house once in a while. I'm saying, so. But good job.
All right. So great. Wonderful. Great, great. Congratulations. All right, good. Well, we have a motion and a second to go into executive session on matters of litigation. All those in favor, please state aye. All right, we're in executive session. Please clear the chambers. Thank you. All right, we are back on the air. We have just exited an executive session on matters of litigation. No votes were taken. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? All those in favor, please state aye. Great. We will see you all after Thanksgiving. Have a happy Thanksgiving. We are adjourned.